1951, Fred Astaire starred in the musical comedy Royal Wedding, which was set in London at the time of the Queen's marriage to Prince Philip, or, as they were known then, Princess Elizabeth and Philip Mountbatten. The Queen was said to have loved the song Cheek to Cheek, as well as Ella Fitzgerald's Night and Day, which we heard before it. And in the next hour, I'll be sharing some show tunes and movie songs from the era of the Queen's youth, ones that I know she loved. This is BBC Radio 2.
BBC News at 2 o'clock. This is Catherine Cracknell. People who've not set off to join the queue to see Queen Elizabeth lying in state have been warned not to. It's not been decided when the queue will shut. Government officials warn the current wait time to get into Westminster Hall is at least 13 hours. World leaders are arriving in London ahead of the Queen's funeral tomorrow, with around 500 heads of state and foreign dignitaries invited. The Prime Minister of Ireland, Micheál Martin, has already arrived in the capital. He explained the impact Queen Elizabeth had had on the relationship between Ireland and the UK.
We believe that Queen Elizabeth, through her authentic actions, by that speech in Dublin Castle on that occasion, in many ways opened up a new chapter in the British-Irish relationship and closed an earlier chapter, and it will long live in the memory.
Our diplomatic correspondent James Landale says there'll be lots of issues to discuss amongst the attendees of the funeral.
The main focal point of the diplomacy will be tonight at the reception at Buckingham Palace, where the King and the Queen Consort are hosting all of these world leaders. It sounds like, you're just saying it's a reception, a drinks party. Actually, it's an enormous event, the like of which we haven't seen for years. So there is diplomacy on the side, Ukraine, world economy, lots to talk about.
Prince Andrew has paid his first public tribute to his late mother. In a statement, the Duke of York said it had been an honour and privilege to serve her and described her devotion and personal service to the nation as unique and singular. In other news, police say they have a plan in place today to try to prevent a repeat of violent disorder in Leicester last night. Hundreds of people had to be separated and 2 arrests were made. There have been a series of disturbances in recent weeks, initially sparked by a cricket match between India and Pakistan at the end of last month. Tests are to be carried out to establish the cause of death of dozens of people found in mass graves in eastern Ukraine. President Zelensky says he has more evidence of torture carried out by the Russian forces driven away from the region earlier this month. Our correspondent in Kyiv, Hugo Bachega, says efforts are continuing to exhume hundreds of people buried by the Russians.
So far, 59 bodies have been exhumed, and the authorities say most of them are of civilians, but they also include 17 Ukrainian soldiers. We still don't know how they died, and this is likely to be a very long investigation. President Zelensky said there was new evidence that torture had been carried out by Russian forces, but he hasn't given details.
Heavy rain and winds of up to 146 miles an hour from Typhoon Nanmadol are battering the southwest of Japan. Millions of people have been told to take shelter, and almost 200,000 homes are without power. Extensive flooding and landslides are expected, while bullet train services, ferries and hundreds of flights have been cancelled. And that's the BBC News at 2:03. Here's Orna.
Catherine, thank you very much. And first of all to the Scottish Highlands and the A887. So it's closed in both directions between the A82 at Invermorriston and Dundragon. Cumbria, and it's the A69, the westbound side at Carlisle through to Scotby. An accident has blocked the road. The M6 is looking better now. Northbound, it was queuing around 29, heading up to Salisbury at 31. That was after an accident. The M61 still slow. That's heading down towards the M60 from Farnworth at Junction 4. Just slow in patches on the M60. Anti-clockwise heading towards Barton Bridge at Junction 11. South Yorkshire, the M18 was closed at 2 at the A1M. Now just barrier repairs underway with one lane closed on either side. The M6 looking slow on the northbound side from the M5 heading towards Wednesbury at Junction 9. A breakdown in one of the lanes. Cambridge, the A14 westbound where it joins the A11 at Junction 38. There's a lane blocked there, and then it's completely closed in Suffolk. That's both directions near Needham Market at Junction 51 through to 52 at Claydon. Routes through Claydon Croydon have been extra busy. The M1, an accident on the southbound side, junction 13 at Bedford through to junction 12 at Flitwick, and also looking slow on the clockwise side of the M25. The accident cleared between 11 at Chertsey and 12 for the M3, and many road closures in central London. It's all the usual ones now. It's Victoria Embankment, also Westminster Bridge, Parliament Square and Whitehall. Back with more for you in an hour.